Sons of NBA 5-on-5, welcome to a summary of after the fifth game day, and let's see how our official leaders in regular season looks like after another 8 games. On the fifth day, we had Atlanta Hawks at Cleveland against Cavaliers. Atlanta lost 95-101. We had Miami Heat at Indiana against Pacers. Ended in overtime for win for Indiana, 102-91. We had Dallas Mavericks at Toronto against Raptors. Dallas won 103-95. We have Detroit Pistons at Chicago against Bulls. Chicago won 97-82. We had New Orleans Pelicans at Minnesota against Timberwolves. Minnesota won 96-89. We had Milwaukee Bucks at San Antonio against Spurs. Milwaukee won 121-111. We had Portland Trail Blazers at home against Phoenix Suns, and they won 134-105. And a last game was Memphis Grizzlies at Los Angeles against Clippers. Memphis won 120-114. We will again start with efficiency per game, and just note 384 players entered the court out of 503 registered NBA players. And we have an average of 10.16 efficiency per game out of all players that have played. And we have as a leader Nikola Jokic. He has efficiency per game score of 39.50 with 2 games played, won 2 games, spent 34.2 average per game minutes on the court, scored 29.5 per game, had a field goal percentage shooting of 65.9, had a 3-point percentage shooting percentage 37.5, free throw percentage is 66.7. Notable is probably that he had only 3 free throws in 2 games. Then we have average of 14.5 rebounds per game, 4.5 assists per game. He had turned the ball over 4.5 times per game, had an average of 2.5 steals per game, had an average of 0.5 blocks per game, made 3.5 fouls per game, and in fantasy point he has a score per game of 58.2, which brings him to second place in that measure. He had 2 times double-double in both games, 0 triple-doubles. Now here we will have additional minutes totals and totals for all games, which we will use in later analysis and summaries. So as you see, we will not spend now time going through all other players, but we will just see who the leaders are and how they did in different categories. Now we are at the category points per game, and we have a Paul George leading this segment. He has averaged, his efficiency per game is 39. He has averaged 35.7 minutes per game at a field goal percentage of 56.3 per game. 3-point efficiency was 43.5% per game. He made all three throws per game, 100% shooting, free throw shooting. He had 10.5 rebounds per game, and he had 5 assists per game. Turned the ball over 3 times per game, had 2 steals per game, 0 blocks, made average 2.5 personal fouls, has 58.1 fantasy points per game, and has 2 double-doubles. And as you see, his plus-minus is minus 5.5 in average per game. We have so maximum, or the best one, is with 35 points out of 384 players that have been on the court until now. Average is 8.98 points, let's say 9 points per game average for all those 384 players that have played until now. Leader in statistics segment rebounds per game is still Rudy Gobert with 20.5 rebounds per game, where 15 of them come from defense, and 5.5 in offense. He played an average of 30.9 minutes per game. His efficiency score per game is 32.5. He had He had 16.5 points per game, as well as 1 assist per game, turned the ball over 2.5 times, had 1 steal, had 0.5 blocks, which is not a lot for a center, let's agree. And he made by average 2.5 personal fouls, and fantasy points are per game 44.6, and he had double-double 2 times, and his score in plus-minus is plus 5.5. Now, after 5th game, leader in segment assists per game with 12 assists per game. This is just after 1 game, is Darius Garland, and maybe we need him to deliver another game with to have more data. So we'll point out here Chris Paul, which had 11.7 assists per game at an average 29.5 minutes per game. And Chris Paul had 3.7 rebounds per game. His plus-minus score is unfortunately minus 15.3. Had 3 turnovers per game, 1.7 steals per game, 0.3 blocks. Bravo, Chris. Made 2.02 personal fouls per game in average, has 38.9 fantasy points, and has efficiency of 23.33 per game. We thank you for your time, and we would love if you would subscribe, if you would like the video, and if you would tell us what's your favorite team, what's your favorite player, what stats are you interested in. If you have any suggestions, please share them with us, and we'll try to keep up and bring stats daily for you. Have a great basketball day in front.